Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Callao in Peru. Callao, as you can see, is just a hop, skip, and a jump from Lima, the capital of Peru. And the whole department is just pretty much the city of Callao. And we'll talk about why that is in history. It's not a part of the overall Lima area. It's its own thing. So that's what we're talking about tonight, obviously. Callao is the main seaport of the country of Peru. So you can imagine it's massive. Of course, we're going to look at it on Google Earth. It's also where the main airport for Lima is located. And it's very small. I don't know how else to describe it. It's one big city, but it's mostly the industrial area of like Lima, right? It's a lot of that. So, that being said, let's jump into history because there's not much geography to talk about other than that. Of course, it's along the coast, the Pacific Ocean, but of course it is because it's a seaport, right? So, the original foundations of the city of Callao were, of course, indigenous. The Koya peoples created a little fishing village here called Piti Piti, and it really remained that way until the Spanish arrived. In 1537, the city was founded by Francisco Pizarro, his conquistadors, in order to create a seaport to send ships out to the Isthmus of Panama, to cross over that, and then sail across the Caribbean and Atlantic to Spain. This was where all of the gold from the Inca and the silver mined, mostly in what's now Bolivia, was sent out toward Spain. So it was an incredibly important area for the Spanish. In 1578, it was pillaged by Sir Francis Drake, and there were quite a few other times where they were under pirate attack because obviously this would be like the place to come after if you were a pirate, right? But the main fortress in Callao wasn't built until much later, and that would be after 1746, when the city was destroyed by an earthquake and tsunami. The city was completely devastated, so after that it was rebuilt, and that's when they built a huge fort to defend the area from everything. However, that would not keep it safe from attacks coming from the inside of Peru during the wars or the revolutions of independence in South America against the Spanish. It was one of the last Spanish holdouts in Peru and South America for the Spanish during those times in the 1810s, 1820s. Spain did siege it after it was taken over. To no avail. They did not manage to wrest it away. They did try again in 1866, though. Also a failure. In 1851, the first railroad in South America was built between Callao and Lima. Obviously, there's many more, much longer lines today in South America. Between 1881 and 1883, the city was occupied by Chile during the War of the Pacific. And obviously, as you can tell, after the war and the dust had settled, they gave the area back to Peru. They kept some land down there. We've talked about it before, but this is obviously back to Peru. There was another devastating earthquake in 1940, but after that, it seems like it's been pretty well protected against natural disasters. There's a bit more to it, though, in that the city is now plagued by what I can tell from my research with a lot of crime, a lot of, let's say, activities that having a huge shipping port going in and out would be beneficial to certain organized groups, if you know what I mean. sending certain substances to and from the area. A lot of that, and a lot of violence associated with that movement of certain addictive items. You catch my drift. It seems pretty, like, again, from my research, it seems pretty crimey, I guess. But, like, also from what I can tell from my research, that's only if you're in certain circles, like certain illegal circles, and that for the most part it's like any other major industrial area in any city around the world. You're gonna have crime with the more people condensed into one spot. That's just humanity. But yeah, it really seems like a lot of the outrageous stories are a bit overblown, and that daily life is not that bad. But I could be wrong. That's just kind of what I've got from researching. If any Peruvians or anyone who's been here knows that, let me know. There is a push for tourism in Callao. Like, if you're visiting Lima, don't forget to see the historical sites of Callao. But I'm not sure how exactly successful that tourism industry is going with the reputation that Callao has. So we'll see how that goes in the future. And that, in a nutshell, is the history of the city of Callao. I didn't tell you why it's its own thing. It always has been ever since its foundation in 1537. It's never been officially integrated into the Lima area or the Lima department, just because it's its own special thing due to the seaport. That's why it's never been integrated into any other department or region or anything like that. It's just its own thing. But anyway, let's hop over to my tablet and we're going to check out what we can on Google Earth. There's not a lot to see here because, again, this is a small area and most of it is just shipping containers and storage facilities and the airport, but we'll take a look at what we can find. Let's hop over there. Here we are in Callao. And let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. As you can see, it is just this little area here is what we're talking about. I don't know why Google Earth says this isn't part of Callao, even though it clearly is. I don't know, but zooming out so you can see where we are. Where is Lima? Where is Peru? Peru is located in western South America along the Pacific coast. It's pretty easy to find if you look at a map like this because you just look for the Andes and where it kind of starts to shrink into the rainforest of the Amazon is where Peru is located. You can also see Lake Titicaca right there in between Bolivia and Peru. Pretty easy to spot. So Lima's on the coast with Callao right above it. A lot of the come to Callao websites I read were like, you can check out San Lorenzo Island, but as you can see, that's not part of Callao, so we're not going to talk about the island. That's pretty much where all the tourism stuff was, unfortunately. But we can see right here the Fortaleza, the Real Felipe. You can see the very characteristic shape of an old-timey fort. There's lots to see in there. We just want the fort. Thank you. There you go. Here is the main fortress, and of course it's not loading. Goodness gracious. Let's see, it says, within the monumental zone of Callao, was built to defend the main port of the country as well as the city of Lima from pirates and corsairs during colonial times. And there we go. Okay, we're now loading. It's really pretty. It kind of reminds me of forts in India. I don't know why. I think it's the colors, I think. And the stonework, I suppose. I don't know. But we can see all of the statues, a cool fountain, the city there, little lighthouse by the looks of it or something. And lots of monuments and historical things, and little cannons there defending this area. Look at all the ships in the water, my goodness, coming in and out of Peru. The cannonballs and tanks. Peru's fought a lot of wars. You wouldn't think so today. It's not really something you think of when you think of Peru, but they did certainly have a lot of conflict in their time. Here's the Looks like the old plaza. And it looks like a nice little, look at all those ships coming in. I bet it's nonstop. All of the shipping containers there going in and out. But yeah, I think this is like the main kind of seaside area, right? You can see the old port area. See the water, all of the breaker rocks there. Look at all the ships, my goodness. And some like regular boats too. People just enjoying the water. Big blue sky there. A little tugboat that says Callao on it. Some pelicans, look at that. And oh, that looks like a memorial right there. People leaving flowers in the water. Palm trees and sunshine and waves, all that good stuff that you get at the seaside. There's a little obelisk oval here. Let's take a look at these. We'll take a look at this plaza next. Again, if it will load. It's thinking about it. There's an obelisk here. This one does, I guess, it lights up. You can see kind of the like neighborhood here. Some statues, lots of palm trees, big oil tankers coming in, big trucks coming from the port. Looks like they're hanging out at that truck. Sorry if you hear my stomach rumbling. I've had tummy troubles all day today. I don't know what it is, but oh, there's some Christmas time, I think. Maybe Easter, not sure. Some inflatables are always good. But yeah, I don't know what I ate, but my tummy's been upset all day. Let's see this plaza, Plaza Garibaldi. It's just interesting because we just talked about Italy and we're going back to Italy next week. Talk about Campania, Naples. We'll hear more about Garibaldi then, but this just looks like a regular park. The benches in the colors of Peru, red and white. Lots of construction. Playing some football. Gardening there. Staying hydrated. Lots of construction. And big old, I guess, lorries, as you'd say in the UK, right? Here we just say trucks. Or tanker trucks, in that sense. What else can we find here? We can see the big port area. Oh, we should look at this. This area that it says is not in Callao. Kind of like tip of this area, La Punta. I like how my stomach has not been like rumbling at all today. I was just kind of upset, but once I hit record, it's got to start rumbling. Look at this pretty building. Looks like a church. It's cool domes. Beautiful sunset there with the palm trees. For all I know, you can't hear my stomach at all. I can hear it very loud. Goodness. But yeah, look at all of this port area. Absolutely massive. Naval bases right here. Let's see what this is. It looks like where a river flows out. Yeah, the Rio Rimac. And just that picture where the river meets the sea. But yeah, pretty much industrial. There's the airport. And pretty much it. Let me see the borders again. Because we're pretty much, yeah, up at the top there. Whoops. And you can see it's just more industrial areas here. Lots of storage and things like that. That's pretty much what the majority of this area is. I was about to say nice park there, but it was a cemetery. Technically a park. The main city there. And I guess you cross over this road and you're in Lima, the capital of Peru. And yeah, there's the big airport. And that's pretty much it. There's not much else to see here. It's just industry, right? Let's find one more thing to look at, and then I'm gonna, I don't know, maybe take a Tums or something. Because my poor tummy's been upset all day long. I guess we'll just look at some slideshows of the shipping area. Let's see what this is. Some cool shipping pictures. But I guess that sums up the city pretty well. So thank you so much for watching. Is that a cruise ship? Oh yeah, look at that. Cruise ship's dock there. Let's see. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This isn't really a typical video. It's a little bit on the shorter side. Tomorrow's video will probably also be on the shorter side, even though we're going to Cuba. And Google Earth portion will probably be longer than history portion because I didn't find a lot of history in this area of Cuba, but there is a UNESCO site there, so we will be reading from that. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. Look at these pelicans. Pelicans kind of give me the heebie-jeebies. If they don't, then you've never seen like videos of pelicans eating like whole pigeons and stuff. It's weird. They're weird birds. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. I hope that you found this video relaxing and educational. I hope my stomach wasn't too loud. That's right, there's a submarine museum over here, but it didn't pop up. Oh my gosh, my stomach. I have to go take some Tums or something. I hope you found this video relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good night. Good night.